No, and they aren't the favorites to win the conference. I mean, I look at the two best teams in the East, and it's pretty clearly the Miami Heat and the Milwaukee Bucks. And I'll get to the Bucks in a second. But I think this Heat team is very dangerous in the playoffs. And I think about what you need to win playoff basketball. You need shot creation. You need shooting. The Heat have that with Tyler Hero and Jimmy Butler off the dribble. They have a bunch of great shooters. They have Bam as a facilitator out of the high post when they get into their movement sets. And then you need guys that can get stops. They have big wing defenders, P.J. Tucker, Jimmy Butler, Kyle Lowry, an elite charge-taking machine, and Bam, who's one of the most versatile defenders at the 5 position. When I talk about the Bucks, look, I think for the whole season, this team has been overlooked because their record hasn't been that great, especially coming off a championship. They're still 22-5 when Drew, Chris, and Giannis play. My 2 big question marks about the Bucks are what version of Brook Lopez are we going to get when he eventually comes back?
That's true.
And will them not bringing back PJ come to bite them when they face a team like the Nets?
I think not bringing back PJ will come back to bite them, particularly since he remained in the conference and is a member of the Miami
Can they
Heat.
replace him at the trade deadline is the question. Can they bring some version of PJ Tucker back? They don't have that guy.
I don't think they can because PJ, it's not just about his skill set. I mean, he's a corner three-point shooter. Other than that, he's a stout defender, and he's a professional pest. Okay? We all know this. And so the veteran savviness that he brings to the table, I find it very difficult to imagine that you're going to be able to get that before the trading deadline. That's number one, even though I appreciate your analysis. Here's where I disagree with you. I'm only going all bodies healthy.
Okay.
I mean, of course, it's not the case if they're not healthy, if people are not healthy. But if they're healthy, it's almost impossible for me to go up against Brooklyn because there is no answer for Kevin Durant. There is no answer for Kyrie Irving with Kevin Durant. Now, Kyrie Irving by himself is the number 1 option in Boston. When Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown were young, Milwaukee smoked them. We understand that. That was too much for him to overcome. But with KD there and him being an option you have to focus on and how prolific they are offensively, to me, the playoff action game slows down. You're in half-court situations. Teams are able to get back on defense. They're not surrendering as many fast break points as you're accustomed to seeing them doing during the regular season. And I'm of the belief, and that's just a bias that I have, JJ, which is why I've always loved you. I'm big on perimeter shooting. As much as I love Giannis, I have always said I don't even want to hear about him compared to Kevin Durant because he can't shoot like Kevin Durant. I know Giannis is phenomenal. Phenomenal. 30. He can average 30 and 15 in his sleep. But when it really, really counts and there's a roadblock to you getting to the hole, I'm just talking about a play here or there, Jay, where you're called upon to pull up and hit a perimeter shot. We know KD money. That's not necessarily the case with Giannis. Giannis was a big man in a little man contest in the finals because DeAndre Ayton had no help. Zari got hurt. Kaminsky is no answer, okay? That's why Phoenix went out and got Biyombo and they got JaVale McGee because you need some size and some athleticism at a big spot in case you run into a guy like Giannis again. I'm looking at a guy like KD, 7-foot sniper. And I'm just saying that with Harden and KD healthy, I know they soft with the front line in terms of girth, mass, and all that stuff, which is why you pointed out Allen in Cleveland. God, if they had kept him while they got the big 3, that would have been something special. But it's still hard for me to bet against Brooklyn healthy.
And that's exactly what I was going to say. I understand why the odds makers still have them as the odds-on favorite to win. Because, again, if those 3 guys are healthy, if James Harden looks like James Harden that we saw in Houston or that we saw for 2 months last year prior to the hamstring injury, if KD comes back from this knee injury and he's healthy, if Kyrie is available for all the games in the playoffs, again, I'd have a hard time betting against them. But I just listed like 4 different uncertainties. I listed 4 different uncertainties. I don't know why you keep bringing this thing up with Giannis. The guy had a 50 ball in Game 6 to close out a finals. So he is as good as it gets in the NBA. It doesn't matter that he can't shoot. They have enough shooting around him.
That is sacrilegious. That is sacrilegious what you just said on national television. One of the great three-point shooters in NBA history is going to sit up here on national television in front of my face and say, excuse me, who cares if he can't shoot?
It doesn't matter.
You mean he can't shoot? Really? You, of all people, would say that?
He proved that last year. He doesn't need to shoot.
Did I not just bring what happened against Phoenix, what the Phoenix situation was? Did I not just bring? You're just going to ignore the fact that I brought that up. I mean, again,
Oh, no.
again.
But my point, so I wanted to touch on that,
Sure.
if you'll let me.
Go ahead.
And I understand the personnel moves that Phoenix made
Okay.
in an effort to combat Giannis in the finals.
Okay.
Who is guarding Giannis for the Brooklyn Nets? They have nobody with size. They have nobody. Claxton, Katie, you're gonna play a 6 or 7 game series with Claxton on them?
No. Hold on,
With
time out, time
Blake
out,
on
time out,
them?
time
With
out, time out.
LaMarcus? Come on.
Time out.
There's not. No. No.
I got him.
Okay.
I got him.
I'll wait for
Here's
it.
the deal. Giannis is going to get his. The great players always do. They're going to get theirs. So what we're talking about, JJ, is moments. What we're talking about is the fourth quarter. There's 2 minutes left.
Yeah.
And you've been running roughshod over everybody get to the hole at will, and all of a sudden they collapse in the paint and they dare you to shoot from 15 feet. They dare you to shoot from 12 feet or beyond. They give you that because they ain't letting you come in the interior. I'm saying moments like that are happening. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.